The glorious time has finally come. Pokémon Scarlet and Violet have officially released. As such, we get to experience that special time once again, where we all get to experience a whole new world filled with Pokémon characters and more, and isn't it just the most magical thing? To celebrate, I am going to be covering 10 awesome Scarlet and Violet facts you need to know in this video. Now, I've got just a couple disclaimers before we get into this though. Number one is that this video is completely spoiler free, so you don't have to worry about any of that. And that's because, two, in order to get this video out in time for the release of the games, I had to make it before the games actually came out. So these facts will concern information that was revealed to us ahead of time. But don't you worry, they're pretty stinking cool if I do say so myself, and starting early next week, I will have lots of great content about everything in the games as well. So be sure to subscribe for that if you haven't yet, and with all of that out of the way, let's dive right into it. So, bonus fact, all of the awesome facts in this video have been made possible in part by today's amazing sponsor, Manscaped, and their Platinum Package 4.0. I use Manscaped products every day myself, and that's because they're great, and they would make a great gift for your dad, your brother, your boyfriend, your husband, or even yourself this holiday season. The Platinum Package comes with literally everything you'll need to look and feel your best, like the iconic Lawnmower 4.0 razor that not only comes equipped with skin-safe technology to prevent nicks and cuts, but it's also cordless, waterproof, and it even has a built-in LED light to make sure you don't miss any of those pesky loose hairs while shaving. The Platinum Package also comes with the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, which is also equipped with skin-safe technology, the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver body spray, aluminum-free deodorant, and Manscaped's signature body wash and 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, which are personal favorites of mine, and I will use them over any other shampoo or body wash out there. This all-in-one package truly does make for the perfect gift, and by using the link in my description and code HoopsVGM at checkout, you not only support the channel, but you'll also get 20% off plus free international shipping on your order. Not to mention that you'll also get 2 free gifts with your order as well, the Shed Travel Bag and Manscaped's own anti-chafing boxer briefs. Again, you can check that out with the link below, and a big thank you goes to Manscaped for helping to make videos like this one possible. Okay, so the first fact of the video concerns none other than the player characters of these games, Florian and Juliana. You may have noticed, and a lot of people remarked when they were first revealed, that these protagonists look quite young, and definitely younger than some of the other protagonists from recent generations. Well, this seems to be the case for more than just Pokemon is a kid's game, so the protagonist needs to be a kid. Because when put together, these characters' names in Japanese, Haruto and Aoi, refer to a phrase known as seishun, or springtime of youth. This is basically a term used to describe the joys and magic of being young, and all the great things you get to experience during this time of your life. Kind of in the same way that we use the phrase childhood to describe the time in our lives when we were younger and lived without a care in the world. With that said, it seems that a theme of youth is actually a big part of these characters' designs, and even the games as a whole, as our next cool fact will continue to demonstrate. Jacques is another significant character in these games who serves as one of your teachers at the Naranja/Uva Academy. And just like with the player characters, looking to his Japanese name can reveal more about what it seems like the theme of these games truly are. First off, what's pretty interesting all on its own is that Jacques' name in Japanese is Zinnia, like the character from Oraz, although this seems to just be a coincidence due to the similar etymology of Jacques and Zinnia's names, rather than an implication of a connection between these two characters. With that said, however, there is something else about Jacques' Japanese name that is not only interesting, but also substantial, as it reveals that his name is derived from the zinnia flower, more specifically the common zinnia, which is apparently also known by the nickname Youth and Age, reiterating that theme of youth from the two player characters that we talked about previously. Since Jacques is also a teacher at the academy, this theme could be derived from the fact that the player attends a school in these games, which is of course tied to the youth experience of most people. Given the prevalence of youth in these characters, however, it will also be interesting to see if this theme takes shape in other ways throughout the games as well. Next, let's take a look at the name of Scarlet and Violet's region. Paldea is actually a pretty great region name, as it seamlessly blends what this region is all about into a name that also rolls off the tongue nicely and looks good visually. Paldea most likely comes from the ancient Greek term paideia, which refers to education, and this obviously reflects all the school elements which serve as the foundation for the game's story. It also likely includes the Spanish word aldea, since Paldea is largely based on Spain, and aldea means village, which would basically refer to Paldea as a settlement where people live, and overall gives Paldea the meaning of education village, which more or less describes this region perfectly. Now, here's one I know you definitely haven't heard before. As a part of the new terrestrial phenomenon that serves as a core mechanic of these games, each Pokemon is given a sort of crown to wear when they terrestrialize that symbolizes which type they now have upon doing so. The Ghost-type terrestrial crown is especially noteworthy because it's actually a nod to Pokemon Red and Blue, as it uses the generic Ghost sprite that featured in those games in Lavender Town in the Pokemon Tower. Farigiraf is one of the new Pokemon from these games that was revealed to us before release, and it is pretty freaking awesome. Not only because it's a Girafarig evolution, which we've needed forever, but also because it seems to take inspiration from one of the least likely places for this kind of Pokemon, and yet still incorporates it into its design so well. Farigiraf is likely based on astronauts, believe it or not, and more specifically, their space suits. This is due to the fact that a Spaniard by the name of Emilio Herrera is the person who invented what would ultimately evolve into the modern spacesuit. This can be seen reflected in Farigiraf's design in the way that its tail head has now come up and surrounded its main head, just like the helmet of a spacesuit. And this inspiration also goes well with Farigiraf as a psychic type, and also as a giraffe, since giraffes are very tall animals with their heads way up in the clouds, or in this case, in the stars. And frankly, this makes Farigiraf one of the best designed Pokemon in recent memory, in my opinion. One thing that was super cool to look at during the lead up to Scarlet and Violet's release were all of the hints that Game Freak left about the games before they were even announced. I made an entire video on this subject if you would like to hear about it in more detail, but there were a few really cool hints that were hidden in plain sight, such as the orange and grape wallpaper in the Circhester Hotel in Sword and Shield, which obviously is a nod to the Naranja/Uva Academy. There were the flowers in Twinleaf Town in BDSP, which were changed from the originals to be Scarlet and Violet in color. There was an NPC in Sword and Shield who spoke Spanish and said that she came to the Galar region from far away, and we even had Elio wearing Fuecoco shoes in Ultra Sun and Moon. I know some people don't exactly buy this one, but come on, something like this with a company like Game Freak and a franchise like Pokemon, and knowing that the games are planned and produced years ahead of time, is not gonna be a coincidence. Plus, the shoes that Elio is wearing in the first place are probably supposed to be Crocs. So it's a pun as well as a hint at the same time, and as far as I'm concerned, things just don't come together that gloriously on their own. So I'm pretty sure there is a legitimate connection here of some kind. Moving along though, now we are going to look at Titan Pokemon. Titan Pokemon are a new variety of large Pokemon, similar to what we've seen in past games, that appear in the Paldea region and are going to feature in the Path of Legends storyline. Interestingly, however, English and Chinese are the only two languages where Titan Pokemon are actually considered different, as in every other language that the games offer, the same terms that are used to refer to Totem Pokemon from the Alola games, who are also larger in size Pokemon, are also used to refer to Titan Pokemon as well, which could potentially provide evidence of a connection between these two types of Pokemon, or possibly that they are in fact one and the same. Regional variants are another form of Pokemon making a return in these games as well, and the one that was revealed to us prior to the game's release was Paldean Wooper. What's interesting about Paldean Wooper, though, is that it seems to be the case that it was possibly inspired by Wooper's own Pokedex entries, as many of them describe how Wooper coats itself with a poisonous film whenever it walks on solid ground, and wouldn't you know it, Paldean Wooper just happens to be poison ground type. This wouldn't be the first time either where new forms of Pokemon took inspiration from their Pokedex entries, as the same sort of thing happened with Alolan Exeggutor and the older Pokedex entries of Cantonian Exeggutor, making it all the more likely that this is indeed the case for Wooper as well. One of the unique things about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are the professors, as not only are there two of them that are version exclusive, but they are also the first main series professors whose names are not derived from some type of tree or bush, as the names Sada and Turo come from the Spanish words for past and future, Pasada and Futuro respectively. This gives them an interesting distinction in the Pokemon world already, but this distinction could be because these professors might be atypical or unusual in some way compared to other Pokemon professors, and might have some ulterior, non-professor-like motives. We're gonna find out really quickly whether that has any weight to it or not, but either way, it's an interesting possibility, and this also makes for an interesting distinction, like I said, for these two Gen 9 professors. For our next fact, we've got some interesting things going on with Pokemon categories, and we're starting first with Fido. This adorable fairy type is known as the puppy Pokemon, and has officially cemented a trend where apparently every generation we're gonna get a dog Pokemon known as the puppy Pokemon, because it happened in Gen 7 with Rockruff, Gen 8 with Yamper, and now for the third generation in a row in Gen 9 with Fido in Paldea. And I mean, I'm not complaining or anything, because if there's one thing that should probably happen every gen, it's getting a new dog Pokemon that's known as the puppy Pokemon. These aren't even the only puppy Pokemon either though, as Growlithe and Lillipup are also known by that moniker as well. Meanwhile, Pawmi is another new Pokemon from these games that is known as the Mouse Pokemon, and just like Fido's category, it is also not the only mouse Pokemon either. This might not be too surprising considering that it is a Pikachu clone, but what might be surprising is that Pawmi is the only Pokemon known as the Mouse Pokemon who isn't from Gen 1, as all of the others are the Rattata family, the Pikachu family, minus Pichu, and the Sandshrew family, which of course are all Kanto Pokemon. That is a pretty weird statistic if I'm being completely honest. However, what's probably even weirder is the fact that there are 6 Pokemon classified as the Mouse Pokemon in just Kanto alone. I guess that's Gen 1 for ya. With that said though, those were 10 awesome Scarlet and Violet facts. If you've gotten the game already, how are you enjoying it? I will be collecting all of my own personal thoughts about the game into lots of awesome videos which are going to be coming soon, which you definitely should subscribe and stay tuned for, but I would also love to hear your thoughts in the comments as well. Just be courteous and don't comment something too spoilery without at least giving a warning. With that said, I will be back very soon with another video, and until then, as always, thank you all so much for watching this one. I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.